Now to a nationwide crackdown of doctors accused of over-prescribing patients, all to pad their own pockets.
Doctors who are prescribing for profit, sometimes even giving patients drugs that they don't need, or worse, drugs that leave them addicted. Raycom's investigative reporter Lee Zurich has his special report. It's called Licensed to Pill.
I almost didn't make it.
This is what happens when a wife and mother gets hooked on opioids by a doctor prescribing for profit.
You're lucky to be alive.
Amen. Absolutely.
Tamison Witherspoon's story started in 2014 following complications from surgery. Witherspoon's doctor sent her to a pain clinic to help alleviate post-procedure pain. The doctor who signed off on her prescriptions, John Couch. According to the federal government, he was one of the highest prescribers of opioids in the country.
I've never met him.
That's crazy.
I've never met him.
How many times did you go to that office?
A whole year.
Witherspoon never met her doctor, but his nurse still gave her prescriptions for 5 different pain medications, including Subsys.
Point the nozzle into your mouth and under your tongue.
A powerful fentanyl spray meant only for cancer patients.
You don't have cancer.
I don't have cancer. I've never had cancer.
So why are you taking a cancer drug?
That's what I was prescribed. And I'm the patient. I'm not knowing. I'm just doing what I was told.
Instantly, Witherspoon says she was hooked.
I would go into episodes of, I didn't know who I was. I mean, I would be walking around with no clothes on.
The addiction tore apart her life, breaking up her marriage.
And I was so embarrassed, so ashamed from coming from being this just great neighbor, great friend, great mother, great wife, to an addict. That was so shameful, and it was what happened to my life was awful, and it didn't have to happen. It could have been avoided.
Experts say Subsys is one of the most potent drugs a doctor can prescribe.
The Subsys spray comes in doses that are so strong, one squirt could easily kill somebody who's not accustomed to taking opioids. These are lethal weapons.
Unknown to Witherspoon, while her doctor prescribed Subsys, he also received money from the drug's manufacturer, Insys Therapeutics.
Insys really sort of set a new bar for sliminess.
Over 21 months, Insys paid Couch and his partner Jilu Ran consultant and speaker fees to prescribe the drug, all totaled $271,000.
How bad were these guys?
These guys were the most egregious form of greed I have ever seen in my career.
Couch and his partner caught the attention of the DEA.
These doctors held themselves out as giving these highly addictive fentanyl products to these patients who obviously didn't need it.
The DEA launched an undercover investigation. In 7 trips to Couch and Ron's office, their undercover agent only met Couch once for 42 seconds.
All right, we'll try that first, see if that helps, okay? All right, get you some medicine going.
The DEA says the doctor's practice was a multi-million-dollar business.
On a monthly basis, they were making in excess of $200,000. When we raided the clinic in May of 2015, we seized in excess of $13 million in property, cars, cash, bank accounts, you name it.
That included a warehouse filled with those luxury cars with personalized plates. The DEA estimates 240 people died in these doctors' care.
In 31 years nearly with DEA, I've never seen anything like this.
Last year, a judge sentenced Couch to 20 years in prison, Ron 21.
We took those 2 pieces of garbage off the planet, and they're in prison. All right, and that's where they belong because they've harmed a lot of people.
Creating addicts and a death toll, all while raking in hundreds of thousands of dollars in speaker fees from the drug's maker.
What a speaker program was a complete boondoggle. All it was a way to kick money back to the doctors.
Couch and Ron's share was a small part of the Insys pot of money. Over a 4-year period, Insys paid more than 13,000 doctors $18.7 million in food, travel, and consultant fees. The FDA has strict rules that Insys can only market Subsys as a drug for cancer pain. But nearly half the payments went to doctors who don't specialize in cancer or pain fields. In that group, psychologists, sports medicine doctors, and even a marriage therapist. Florida doctor Edward Lubin doesn't deny he received $160,000 from Insys. In an email about his paid speeches, Lubin stated he didn't advocate the use of Subsys for non-cancer patients. According to Medicare data, Lubin wrote the third highest amount of Subsys prescriptions in the country. Lubin would not answer if he ever prescribed Subsys for non-cancer patients. Florida anesthesiologist Bart Gatz took $230,000 of Insys money for consulting and meals. Gatz prescribed 453 Subsys claims. His attorney told us even if Gatz prescribed for non-cancerous ailments, he did nothing wrong. Legally, a doctor can prescribe Subsys to non-cancer patients, but they must complete required FDA training for the drug. Gatz's attorney would not say if his client did. Lubin says he did complete the training.
Located on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, I am Dr. Jeffrey Goldstein, a licensed and board-certified physician.
Insys paid New York doctor Jeffrey L. Goldstein $215,000. Goldstein wrote 304 Subsys prescriptions. His website says Dr. Goldstein has extensive training in nutritional and cosmetic medicine. Goldstein works at a med spa with another doctor, Todd Schliffstein.
Other med spa services we offer include cosmetic injectables, cosmetic fillers, and a full line of laser skincare services.
That med spa has posted dozens of pictures of cosmetic procedures on Facebook, including a patient's butt augmentation. But still, Insys paid Schliffstein $146,000 to market the cancer drug, Subsys. In 3 years, Schliffstein wrote 91 Subsys claims. The Subsys prescribed by Goldstein and Schliffstein cost $5.5 million, about $14,000 per prescription.
This company, in my view, went beyond what they should do lawfully. They helped to create this problem.
Last year, the state of North Carolina filed a complaint against Insys, accusing the company of pushing the drug to non-cancer patients. In that complaint, the Attorney General alleges a Subsys executive told a sales rep doctors do not need to be good speakers, they need to write a lot of Subsys prescriptions.
They were rewarding doctors with payments in order to get them to prescribe more. That's wrong. That's not lawful.
It makes Tamison Witherspoon fume. The doctor prescribing her a potentially killer drug took money from the drug company.
The only reason that I was ever prescribed Subsys is so somebody can get rich and get paid. That's it. Not because I need it.
In November of 2014, she checked herself into rehab and got clean. Today, she's engaged and says she's turned her life around, but will never forget the crippling addiction and the doctor who put her on that path.
You mean you got paid for ruining my life? You got paid for destroying my life? You got paid for all the hell that I had to go through? That hurts. But you move on.
Now, our investigative unit reached out to Drs. Goldstein and Schliffstein. Neither returned the request for any comment.
And Insys did not respond to the request either. More proof tonight of the feds cracking down on doctors suspected of overprescribing. Just today, the DEA and FBI raided Dr. Mark Murphy's office in Lewisburg, Tennessee. The raid comes on the heels of our national investigation that identified Dr. Murphy as the top prescriber of opioids in the entire country. The police chief in Lewisburg says all signs point to this office being a pill mill, with patients coming from out of state to get prescriptions filled.
We're seeing that volume of traffic from Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia in one place. It's quite unusual.
An investigator seized dozens of boxes of records from Dr. Murphy's office, but won't say exactly what they took. A new push to curb the country's opioid epidemic puts drug makers on notice. Attorney General Jeff Sessions launched a new task force that will focus on lawsuits. It's called the Prescription Interdiction and Litigation Unit, or PILL. It will focus on lawsuits that target opioid manufacturers and distributors. PILL will also examine existing state and local lawsuits to see how the feds can help.